Today's video is sponsored by Raycon. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in 2019 I posted a short video explaining that I hadn't uploaded in a while because I was going through some back problems at the time. Well, part of the problem was I was severely out of shape, and I took it upon myself to correct this, and I try to work out at least 3 times a week. And like almost everyone else you see at the gym, whenever I'm working out, I have a pair of earbuds in. Raycon sent me a brand new pair of everyday earbuds. Raycon is a premium audio brand that provides a quality product at competitive pricing. You can rock these earbuds for just half of what you'll spend on other popular brands. The everyday earbuds give you multiple tap functions to optimize your listening experience, in addition to the pause function in case somebody comes up to you and asks you how many sets you have left. You can switch between 3 different sound profiles that will best fit your choice of music, whether it's death metal, or my personal favorite, 80s themed workout music. Their custom gel tip design is made to fit perfectly inside of your ear. And more importantly, they are sweat resistant, so there's no need to concern yourself if you're breaking a sweat during your workouts. I'm extremely picky when it comes to choosing earbuds, but when I experienced these for myself, I understood why Raycon has over 50,000 5-star reviews, and I highly recommend them. Raycon offers buy now, pay later options, and every purchase comes with an easy and free return guarantee. You can support my channel by clicking the link in the description box or going to buyraycon.com/522 and get 15% off your Raycon purchase. My name is Will Wright. About 7 months ago, I submitted a story that appeared as the second entry in Creature Encounters number 11. It was about an experience I had in my hometown of Southampton. Me and some friends of mine encountered an unknown creature in the forests of Massachusetts. I recommend that you go listen to it before continuing here. Anyways, here we go. My family surprised me over the winter break and told me that we were taking a small 1-week vacation back to my hometown. I was able to convince my parents to allow me to bring along my girlfriend Taylor. Trust me, that took some effort. And soon enough, we boarded a flight out of Florida on an early January morning, landing in Massachusetts in the afternoon. For the first couple of days, Taylor and I were having a lot of fun. We hung out with some of my childhood friends, doing all the things that we used to do growing up, and overall just having a good time in our small country town. 3 days into our trip, my good friend Spencer invited me, my buddy Coleman, and my best friend Edward to come and stay at his house for the night. Spencer's house is off of a very secluded dirt road, surrounded on all sides by forest. I agreed to spend the night, as long as I could bring along Taylor. Edward wanted to bring along his girlfriend Morgan. Spencer was hesitant at first, but eventually caved in. I had forgotten about what happened there 4 years prior, and how we basically got Spencer's dad, aka Joey Bonanza, arrested for shooting an illegal firearm into the forest. He was beyond wasted at the time. However, that kind of overshadowed the reason we fled to begin with. Edward and Morgan picked up Taylor and I from the rental house, and we drove over to Spencer's. When we got there, we just hung out in Spencer's backyard, shooting the shit by the fireplace for about 3 hours. When night fell, it began to snow, and we all went back inside and ended up watching Sunday Night Football in Spencer's bedroom. We didn't want to watch it downstairs because Joey Bonanza was drunk again and was screaming at the television again. And for the cherry on top, he was angry about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, come on, you call that coverage? My dead grandma's ass could play better than that. I should be your damn coach for crying out loud.
Yeah, so we're gonna stay away from him for the rest of the night. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen Joey Bonanza sober a day in my life, even at parent-teacher conferences. Anyways, the game ended, and we could hear Joe open the back door, go out to the garden, while drunkenly shouting,
This is what I think of you, Jacksonville. You Bush League bullshit franchise.
We looked out of the window and saw him punching a garden gnome over and over again. All of us, except for Spencer, were on the floor laughing. Later on that night, Taylor and I went to one of the guest rooms to do some extracurricular activity. We were laying in bed afterward, about to fall asleep, when we heard this weird screaming sound coming from outside. We ran out into the hallway. Spencer and Coleman were already there, looking concerned. Then from downstairs, we could hear Spencer's greyhound, named Bullet, begin to aggressively bark at whatever was outside. Edward then busted out of his bedroom.
Yo, what the fuck was that?
It took him a couple of seconds to realize that we weren't just shocked because of what we had heard outside. Edward had emerged from the room, completely naked. Edward, please, put some pants on. It turns out Ed was also in the middle of some X-rated things with Morgan. After the commotion, we discussed about what the hell we should do about the disturbance outside.
Can't we just stay here and play Xbox or something?
Shut up, Coleman. I'm not scared of whatever's out there. Spencer, go get your dad's shotgun, and let's go out there and spook the son of a bitch, I said, wanting to look tough in front of my girlfriend. In hindsight, this was not a good idea. Joey Bonanza had already been arrested on a firearms-related charge, but honestly, we weren't really thinking about that at the time, and this is where the story takes a turn for the worse. Everyone agreed on my idea. Edward, being the experienced hunter of the group, elected to take the shotgun, and we followed him outside. He didn't load the gun because we thought we could just intimidate the person off the property. Soon enough, we found ourselves in the backyard. Fuck, it's cold up north, Taylor said, shivering. No shit, Spencer responded. Spencer, shut up. She's from the south. I turned back to Taylor. Look, it's gonna be okay. We're only gonna be out here for a few minutes. I could tell that Taylor was shaken up, and so was I, to be honest. But I tried not to show it as I put my arm around her, and we kept pace behind Edward and Morgan. After we walked for an amount of time that was much longer than what I had just told Taylor, Morgan turned around and said, where the hell is Coleman? God damn it. I thought I told you guys to stay behind me. He must have walked off to go piss or something. Edward was clearly frustrated. So we all stood there, freezing our asses off in ankle-deep snow, shouting out Coleman's name, trying to lead him back to us. That's when Edward shushed us, and we listened carefully. We heard footsteps in the distance. Coleman? Spencer asked. Edward turned around and whispered, That's not Coleman. Those steps are way too big to be him. How do you know that? Coleman's a big guy. Who else would it be? Shh. The footsteps sounded like they were a few feet from us. He took out his phone, and right before he turned on the flashlight to see what was in front of us, it all came roaring back to me. All of the memories of what happened out here 4 years ago. We never got to the bottom of it, and I remember telling myself that I would never be back out in these woods again at night. And here we are, with an unloaded shotgun right in its territory. Edward raised his phone, and we saw it. The most horrifying thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm pretty sure a few of my hairs turned white. The first time we encountered this thing, none of us ever got a good look at it, but this time, we had front row seats. God, this thing had to be at least 9 feet tall, with piercing white eyes, long limbs that dangled off its body, and a sickly skin texture. And its mouth was a nightmarish chasm of horror. A 2-foot opening of the sharpest, longest fangs you've ever seen in your life. Forgive me, but I'm trying to describe this thing as best as I can for you guys, but no amount of words will do it justice. You would have to be there to understand how unnatural and frightening this thing was. In response to seeing the light, the creature let out the loudest, most ear-piercing shriek ever uttered on this Earth's surface. In response, we all turned around and ran back towards Spencer's house. Spencer, being the track athlete, made it back before all of us and was waiting by the open back door. I literally picked up Taylor and we dove into the house like we were scoring a touchdown. Edward then came running in with Morgan as she cried her eyes out. Spencer slammed the door shut and we gathered at the closest window and looked at the edge of the tree line. We saw the thing stop and stare at the house. It let out one more hellish shriek before it turned around and disappeared into the maze of trees. Spencer was losing his shit and yelling,
"Coleman's dead, man! Coleman's fucking dead!"
Edward was holding Morgan, who was still sobbing. Taylor was crying on the floor, so I picked her up and I hugged her. She then threw up all over me. She could have thrown up on me 10 more times, and I wouldn't have cared because we made it out alive, and that's all that mattered to me.
"How do you know that Coleman is dead? Did you see him die?"
Spencer was too hysterical to answer me, so we decided to go back upstairs and call the cops. This would be a repeat of what happened 4 years ago, only worse this time. When we opened the door to Spencer's bedroom, Coleman was sitting in front of the TV playing Xbox.
"Coleman, you're alive!"
Edward and Spencer ran over and hugged him. I was about to do the same, but I still had puke all over my shirt.
"You guys thought I would actually go out there at night? No way. All of you are crazy."
Edward quickly shifted gears and punched him right in the face, giving Coleman a nosebleed. So to wrap things up, this entire ordeal pretty much ruined Taylor's vacation, but thankfully we're still together as a couple to this day. So yeah, just another PSA to anyone living in Western Massachusetts. Lock your doors at night and never venture into the woods after dark, because there is something out there. And I pray every night before I go to bed that I will never see that thing again. Thank you for watching. If you have a story that you would like to share on this channel, please send it to my email, unit522stories@outlook.com. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button when notifications turned on. You can further support my channel by visiting the merch store. A link for that is in the description. You'll be hearing from me soon. Until next time, I'm your Uncle Unit. And as always, never forget. There's always a